والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
Imam Alusi notices something. He says, how come Allah used nazlatan as opposed to marratan? Because وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى, that would mean he saw him yet another time. But Allah didn't just say he saw him yet another time. He said he saw him at a descent another time. So he replaced the word another time with a descent or a low position. Imam Razi starts picking on this word and says this is significant. وَالنَّزْلَةُ حِينَئِذٍ يُحْتَمَلُ أَن تَكُونَ لِمُحَمَّدٍ صلى الله عليه وسلم كما ذكرناه لأن النبي على ما ورد في بعض أخبار ليلة المعراج جاوز جبريل عليه السلام وقال له جبريل عليه السلام لو دنوت أنملة لاحترقت ثم عاد إليه فذلك نزلة. It's incredible. The reports we have about the journey of the Prophet through the heavens tells us that at one point the Prophet ﷺ reached a place where he had to go even past Jibreel alayhi salam. And when he noticed that Jibreel alayhi salam is not coming with him, Jibreel alayhi salam told him, لَوْ دَنَوْتُ أَنْمُلَ, if I move as much as a finger, a nail chip, a chipped nail, if I move this much more, لَحْتَرَقْتُ, I will be set on fire. I don't have the ability to come closer. You know, like the sun is at a certain distance from the earth. And if an object gets too close to the heat of the sun, what's going to happen to it? It's going to be inflamed. It can't withstand the heat of it. There's an intensity to this location that Jibreel alayhi salam cannot tolerate. So he has to stay low, but Allah has commanded the Prophet ﷺ to keep going. So ثُمَّ عَادَ إِلَيْهِ. So then the messenger kept going and he had a meeting. And he saw some things he saw that only he saw. We don't know what that is. We'll dig into that later. And on his way down, he sees him again. But now when he sees him, who's higher? The Prophet is higher now, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So nazlatan makes now sense because the first time the Prophet was on the earth, alayhi salatu wasalam, and Jibreel was in the sky, alayhi salatu wasalam. But now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is actually even higher, and as he's coming down, he can see Jibreel alayhi salam in a lower position than himself. So this imagery is describing the ascension of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And for those people who argue that this journey was just a spiritual journey, it happened in his dream or his subconscious, etc., the word nazla tears that apart. It's such a literal visual image, right? That this journey did physically take place into the unseen, and this is where this vision happened. Okay, now, عند سدرة المنتهى. So when he saw Jibreel on his way down, he saw him by a lot tree. If you don't know what a lot tree is, you need to do Google Images. I would have put it here, but I want you to do some homework too. Look up what a lot tree looks like. But it's clearly not going to be the lot tree that we're used to. Let me give you an example. We have fruits in this world, yes? But Jannah has fruits. Are they the same? No. We have trees in this world. Jannah has trees. Are they the same? We have rivers in this world. They have rivers. Are they the same? No. The Prophet ﷺ describes مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ, what no eye has ever seen. So what that's going to mean is you're going to see stuff there that you've never seen before. You're going to see things that you want. Somebody would get to Jannah and say, I just really want a chicken shawarma. I really miss chicken shawarma. And you know, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُكُمْ. You're going to get what you want. If you really want a chicken shawarma, it will be presented to you. No problem. But then, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. But you'll see things there you've never seen before. And by the way, the things we desire are only based on what we've experienced. You see a nice car, man, I want that car. You see a nice picture, man, I want to go visit that place. Our imagination is limited. We haven't seen beyond this, so we can't want it. So our wants are going to evolve when we get to Jannah because we're going to see stuff we've never seen. We're going to eat stuff we've never eaten. We're going to drink stuff we've never drank. But because the human vocabulary is based on what we've seen. This is called a mug. This is called a book. This is, by the way, a bow. I brought it. for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to shoot any of you. But we see things and we name them. We name them. We have naming conventions for these things. But we've never been to Jannah. So we can't name stuff in Jannah. But what Allah does in the Quran is He says it has trees, it has fruits, it has meat, it has spouses, it has jewels, it has seating and all of that. So He uses words that we're used to from which world? This world. But He's doing that because we are limited, because we don't have access to that world. So He says the closest thing that you can use to help you at least get some idea of what's happening in Jannah is cushions. You're like, oh, cushions. Yeah, I see those at Target. Yeah. Okay, cushions. I get cushions. But when you get to Jannah and you see the cushion, like, oh, that's not no cushion. My God, that's what He meant? Oh my goodness. Completely different experience. You understand what I'm saying to you? So the language in the Quran for Jannah is actually borrowing language from this dunya, even though it's actually much more than that. Now, based on that idea, he sees Jibreel alayhi salam by a lot tree. It's a sidra. A sidra is a lot tree. But if you Google the image of a lot tree, is that necessarily the same? No, it's something. So now it started making me wonder, what could it be about the lot tree that, from the word sidra, the root letters are sin, dal, and ra. So the main word is lot tree. But what could it be? What could be some of its secondary meanings? There are some akhbar, some narrations. But before going to the narrations, I'm going to give you the secondary meanings of this word. As-sidar, ta'arrud fil khaba. When you drape over a tent, that's actually called a sidar in Arabic. When somebody lets their hair down, if they have long hair and they let their hair down, that's actually called sadar al-rajul. The man let his long hair down. So like the tent draping or the hair draping. Tasaddara bithawbihi, when somebody puts their clothes on, they cover themselves with their garb or their outfit or their clothes. That's tasaddara. Sadira basaruhu, when someone's vision got covered and they can't see clearly, that's their vision is experiencing sadir. So a theme is emerging. All of the words associated with sidra have to do with overarching, covering, creating a barrier. It's as if Allah is describing a tree that casts a shadow. Something massive that casts a shadow, that overshadows. Okay? And then he didn't just say sidra, he says al-muntaha. Al-muntaha actually means the final or the end. So this is the tree at the very, very end. Let's try to visualize this first. The Rasul ﷺ is coming down. He sees as far as the eye can see, at the very end of whatever heavenly horizon that is, what does he see there? He sees a tree. That's the last thing he can see. And by that tree, who does he see? Jibreel alayhi salam. Inda sidratil muntaha. By the far end of this view, he can see Jibreel alayhi salam in a distance. Okay? So now, this is interesting. If you try to compare the language from the first vision, when he saw Jibreel alayhi salam had taken over the entire sky. You remember that? But now it seems like he sees him far away by a tree. So does that make it look like Jibreel alayhi salam is massive or small? Small. Because now we're not on the first sky. The place we're in is much more grand. And in the grand scheme of things, Jibreel alayhi salam looks like one star in the night sky. So in this world, he looked like overwhelming, and there he's just a blimp. He's way out in the distance by that tree. You understand? And this is the image that Allah is painting of this second vision from these words, عند سدرة المنتهى. Now, the word muntaha is kind of important, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Al-muntaha means the final end, the last thing you can see.